We should give thanks to God, for this is the will of God in Christ Jesus our Lord. This morning, I came with a very important messages, and they are going to be bulleted in such a way and manner that we can grasp all the necessary vitals that comes along with it, knowing that we are at the brink of this long-awaited financial turnaround. It is important to stay informed and also spiritually alerted. The following, what the key points here, I'm going to put them in series, and it's going to be like in 10 numbers, in 10 itemized numbers, and then I'm going to expatiate on each of them. Don't forget that this is Prince's channel, and we deal with grants and cryptocurrencies and other stuff that could earn you some financial liberation and financial freedom. So the insights are going to be offering some clarity on the ongoing developments that are concerning the disbursement process. And first off, number one on the key there is that the fund for disbursement is ready. The most critical update is that the fund is no longer in transit. It is ready. And this is marking a shift, a very important, significant shift from waiting on the queue to now preparation, that we have to prepare to receive that which is coming to us. In other words, we are not speaking no more in uncertainties. The resources for this empowerment initiative are now positioned for release, and all that remains are just the final strategic steps which are being executed with precision as we speak. So first off on the key there, the fund is no longer in transit. The fund is ready, and that's a significant boost and a shift towards our successes within the grand ecosystem. Secondly, disbursement may be simultaneous or gradual. You know, somebody says sometimes that when you say gradual, by gradual is not the correct English, but then when you say gradually, it's I think it's more of it like that. So while many of us are anticipating an equal time rollout system, let us also use this word synchronized. In other words, synchronized, that disbursement payment to all beneficiaries might be synchronized. What it means is that disbursement to beneficiaries across various clusters may receive funds around the same time frame. But however, due to some logistical and security concerns, there might also be a staggered or phased approach. While recipients are being attended to in groups or based on regions, regardless of methods, one truth remains that disbursement is certain and is imminent. Staggered approach means that it might also not go synchronously. Because of security reasons, it could also be in phases. That is the staggered approach that might also be aborted. So I'm just going to pieces it down more further, but before then, don't touch the dial. I'll be with you just shortly. All right. All right, thank you very much and welcome back. Sorry for that, just a brief pause in transmission. Now, thirdly, we all know that the country director's broadcast have been something of advocacy at different times, and the voice seems to be very much important than even the fund, the money. Well, we are clamoring for the Apostle Ken's voice notes, and the last time he revealed to us through his secretary Simeon Idachaba, a lot of people advocated that we wanted to hear his voice, which is more authentic than just the the write-up that it might not even be the one that sent the write-up, but his voice cannot be mistaken. And I think I wrote a comprehensive advocacy to that effect, sending it to the county director, but up till now it's still muted. We don't know what that could possibly be. It could also be that he's not yet certain or not yet sure of the precise date that is meant to announce the broadcast. But then the Apostle Ken, who is the spiritual and administrative figure at the helm of this movement, is set to address the public any moment from now. And this broadcast that is expected will not only confirm the progress that has been made so far, but it's going to also serve as an official spiritual endorsement of what has already been activated behind the scenes. His silence has been so strategic. In the meantime, his speech would be definitely definitive. I beg your pardon, just pardon my manners. All right, so we just know that some of these silences are quite a little bit needed, because every battle has their strategy to fight in them, and you have to know the strategy for winning your war so that you won't get entangled in all of the crucialities of those events and then finally be brought down again. So it's important that he goes by what he sees and what he knows that works for him. Maybe peradventure over time he had been so vocal and he's been talking, and that's when it comes right now to the power of proper speech and knowing when to talk, knowing who to talk to, and knowing how to talk. I think all of these are quite so important to know how to address this cruciality, especially when you're in the middle of a fierce storm and it's battling you from left, right, center. Lord, having all of these on his head alone, having all of human being on his head, one person could have 1,000 opinions. You know what that means. But here we're talking about millions, everybody crying for their bread, crying for their own, crying for their lots, and just on one man. And you know that within this one man circle, we also have people within the cabinet that might not be too pure. If Jesus had one inside his company, then is it Apostle Ken that wouldn't have one? So he has to be careful, knowing who he's dealing with, and his cabinet members and his team of information disseminators. So everything is very, very strategic. And then don't just take it aback that he has not said anything and it appears like he doesn't want to say anything. No, those silence are quite strategic. So that's what I want you to know. Now, fourthly, stakeholders' fund reception is strategic for security reasons also. We know the stakeholders are the one on the line right now before we talk about the beneficiaries. And under the stakeholders, we still have the pioneers, and which some have said in time that is not true, that is a scam. No, pioneers is not a scam. It's not a scam. You understand? It's not a scam. I know someone who is in this scheme very, very, really. I am not there. I don't register for the Pioneer slot, but I know someone of keen interest that is there, very, very highly inflated, that is also there in that scheme. Pioneer is not, but is only surrounded, I've said this countless times, it is surrounded by a lot of scams, a lot of fraudulent people that are around that system that doesn't want it to thrive or see the light of the day. But then in its originality itself, Pioneer has a measure of sincerity, and the slot in itself has some uniqueness attached to that. So fund that is released to high-level stakeholders is not being done in a public manner. I want you to get that straight. The receipt and confirmation of such funds are happening through carefully designed, orchestrated and strategic processes. So security, confidentiality, and order are being prioritized in the stakeholders' disbursement. And this is a silent strategy which is put in place, and it is working. It is working. So this muted approach is intentional. This muted approach that has been endorsed, first adopted by the county director, now has been adopted in the sharing formula towards all the organs where this fund is to be received. And I think it's like the muted approach is the order of the day right now, because they see that it's working. It's working for them, and it's going to work for us for security reasons. So it is intentional to protect beneficiaries and also ensure that the process is not hijacked or compromised in the first place. So if they see that a scheme is working for them and they adopt it, and other ones coming thereafter are also adopting the same, it's just like some of my friends that leave the country. They wouldn't tell me nothing. Suddenly I just see a foreign number calling me. Once I see the code, I know where it's coming from. Some call from Canada, some calls from USA, some called from, just different abroad countries like that. And when I see the code, I don't know who's behind the call, but I know the country is coming from. Only to pick up my call and say, who is it talking? It's me. Oh, you are not abroad? Yes, I'm in abroad, but we spoke last week. What happened? I say, oh boy, all of those things, Yes, I'm sorry I didn't tell you, but then, a couple of them like that. So I understand. I say, well, I understand. Sometimes you just have to know how to shut your mouth and then begin to talk about it when the victory is won. So it is strategic. I hope you understand what I'm saying. It's so strategic, especially when battles are involved. You're fighting forces, oppositions, powers in high places, and you don't even know where they're coming from, but you just know that, hey, the Bible even says that the evil of each day is enough for it. That means for every day, there is an evil to battle down. But it told us something: redeem the day, for those days are evil. So you can't be wiser than God who sets this. And it is people within the days that also make it so complicated. So you just know how to open your mouth and shut them in time. And I think that's just what is being adopted right now. We're just on number 4 point. I don't want to make this video too long, but then we need to get all of these things in bulleted form. Now, the 5th point on the agenda is the Theobald. The Theobald disbursement is on high alert. The Theobald Foundation Global Disbursement, one of the channels through which these life-changing funds are expected, is also on heightened operational alert. And the spokesperson for this initiative movement is Ambassador Newman, who is designated to address the public, and is expected that his address to the community is soon coming with substantial updates. So as always, until verified communication is released, it is also best to remain calm and prepared. So much more and prepared. All right. Now, the 6th point on the agenda is the unverified figures from Madam Ngozi Israel. Actually, I've had where she said quoted some amount. It has been reportedly quoted that a large, humongous amount to be received per beneficiary was quoted at some time, which I felt like this was too heavy. I don't know how to pass that across to the people, that what each beneficiary is going to receive is so high. But then I just kept it behind sleeves, because wisdom cautions us not to rely on figures that have not officially been confirmed. Yes, her statements may have sparked hope on that line, but we must also allow official channels to authenticate the actual disbursement structure. Until then, we need to stay grounded and avoid assumptions. When I had the figure, and I also had some figures quoted by other organs and some other personalities, the NGO heads, I just had to keep quiet a little bit and say, no, this looks so much unrealistic. Well, I like it. If it's going to be like that, it's for financial freedom. But then on the other side, we just had, so in summary, we don't really know the actual amount right now. The only person who came out through the media that time when Theobald was still on high alert was Apostle Theophilus. He was moving on, and the news agencies, they came to him and asked him some questions, and maybe some of you might possibly have seen the video, and they asked him how much is expected to be given to beneficiaries, and he quoted at least not less than 1 million, 2 million that each beneficiary should be expected. But you see, down the line, I believe that a lot of things have changed. It was after then that we got wind that he was not the real mandate holder, that it was the UAAG, which finally became the Sanctuary Wealth. You understand? And a lot have happened. He was arrested, EFCC was involved, and a lot of things happened. He was beaten and things like that. So you should expect right now that the figures are not as audacious as is being quoted, because a lot of things have happened. But what is important is that disbursement is real and is going to enter your account. So whatever comes to you at the time, just take it in good faith, because you have your mind on 50 million coming to you, but you receive 1 million. How do you juxtapose that? You feel so much downcasted, downhearted, demoralized, and sidestepped. But let's not be. Just zero your mind. Definitely is a grant. You're not paying it back. It's not a loan. And so whatever funds coming at this time is crucial, is important, it's needed, and it's going to be very useful. All right. So the quoted figure right now, just rest. A lot of persons are asking me that question. How much? But rest. Please take this. Rest. When we get the figure to be disbursed, we are going to tell us in confidential accent. But as for now, please just rest on the figure. Now, the 7th point here is a classified information from Osim. I personally put a call across to Osim just a few days ago, and concerning this, and he told me in confident accent of this fund coming and how real it is. He told me 1 or 2 things that are quite so crucial and so confidential. I don't want to, because I didn't ask him. Should I tell the community this? I didn't ask him that, so I don't want to. How will I put it down? I don't want to just pieces somebody's trust or confidence at a time like this. So, but he told me things in confidence, and I'm telling you this in confidence also. So, in case, we know that he's a trusted insider, and he has shared some sensitive information at some time that confirms the authenticity and also the closeness. Your joy and your expectation, it will not be aborted. In Jesus' name, the Bible said the expectations of the righteous would not be cut short. It will not be aborted. It will not be truncated. And I think he's talking to you. I think he's talking to us. Our expectations will not be cut short. So please, if you know how to celebrate, yes, celebrate in advance, because what is coming. But if you know how to pray, because anything good coming, the devil always have a way of wanting to blow them off. That is his ministry in the first place. It is the ministry of blowing off goodness, the ministry of accusation, the ministry of finding fault, the ministry of accusation. He accuses the brethren, he reports them to God. Anything good, he wants to truncate it. He doesn't create, but he wants to destroy creation. That is always his point. So anytime there's a creation of goodness, financial boom or financial freedom coming to you, and you don't pray, God has released them, but you need energy, spiritual energy and vitals to draw them to you. Say, with joy shall you draw water out of the wells of salvation. So please do your part when God is doing his part. What is your part? Pray to sustain the vibrality of the stuff. Pray to gain the freedom that you need. Pray to get that which pertains to you, and it's going to be ours. All right, and then the 8th point on my list is that we have entered into the week of delivery. All things being equal, by God's special grace. And this is not just a week of activity. Today is Monday, wonderful Monday at that. It's a week of delivery. All signs, reports, and administrative cues are pointing to a scheduled breakthrough that is happening within this timeline. And as such, We must increase our spiritual alertness. We must stand firm in prayers. As I said earlier, we must resist any force of near success syndrome. It's a pointer. Near success syndrome. It's not good at all. Those unseen forces that causes breakthrough to come close only to disappear into thin air. They are near us, they're around us, we sleep with them, we walk with them, and they want to just clutch into our shadows. But we need to pray against near success syndrome. We're within the week of celebration, the week of beneficiaries expansion, but it's the week of prayer. So if anything borders on you, you just had to begin to pray that this near success syndrome this week would not be against us. God will bow them down to the ground, wiggle them out, and bury them in the gulag of hell, so that this week will be a week of rejoicing for us. I just begin to envisage how it's gonna be when I get a lot in my bank account. When you get a lot in your bank account, how it's going to be. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be awesome. The jubilation is going to span the air, spill everywhere, and I think is the time that we now are in. So please pray within this week. It's not out of point. My ninth point on this agenda talks about pressure. Internal pressures are driving faster. Yes, internal pressure, they are driving faster releases. From some of the internal observations, the management teams are feeling the weight of expectation, and pressure is mounting from multiple fronts. Beneficiaries, stakeholders, and even spiritual voices. Yeah, the pressure is not destructive, it is catalytic in nature. The pressure, the ascent coming from spiritual forces are even more. Prayers in high degree. It is propelling the disbursement channels to act faster, yet very wisely. Because as they respond, delivery is also drawing very closer. So this pressure are catalytic in nature. It's just for reactive mentality to drive them into fulfilling these promises faster enough, because people need these funds, and that right early. Now, on a final word, which will form my 10th point agenda on this great submission, it's my final word. Let patience have its perfect work. Avoid rumors, ignore distractions. Focus on your personal positioning mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. We are closer now than ever before. Speak your testimonies in faith and protect your peace. What is yours will not pass you by. The time is no longer coming. The time is now. In case you're new, I wish you congratulations. I dropped a message a couple of days ago that some submissions are still being made silently. If you're very close to your NGO heads and you could advocate for someone else, it's just to submit your credentials to them. Gone are the days we had that it has closed. If they are going to disburse through NGO heads, stakeholders down to the NGO heads, then you have a rapport and you submit your credentials to them. Chances are that you can still be found.